President-elect Donald Trump was sentenced in his hush money case. No punishment, no penalty for the president-elect because he is about to take office in 10 days. Judge Juan Merchan saying that that's the overriding factor here. While the charges that Trump was convicted of back in May of 2024 could potentially land him behind bars, could lead to probation or a fine, Judge Juan Merchan said that in this case, presidential immunity will kick in on January 20th, and there is no practical way to give any other punishment. So he decided to give what is known as an unconditional discharge, meaning that the case is closed with no penalty or no punishment, but the conviction stands. It remains on Trump's criminal record. Now, Trump did not appear in court in Manhattan in person. He was on video from his home in Florida. The judge gave him that accommodation as he is preparing to retake the White House. Trump spoke for about 6 minutes in court, said that this case and this conviction were an embarrassment to New York and the New York court system. He lashed out again at what he calls a witch hunt against him, said this case was politically motivated and never should have been brought. Trump also affirming that he will appeal the verdict, that he will challenge it, and he hopes to see it eventually dismissed.
We're all together now. Ebony and Ivory.
Hey, Dion, how are you?
Hi, Janie, how are you? Good to see you, too.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg was in the courtroom watching this proceeding unfold. Sentencing lasted about 33 minutes. Joshua Steinglass from the District Attorney's office spoke in court, talked about the conviction, talked about upholding the jury's verdict, and talked about the various factors at play here in this sentencing. He talked about how Trump was held in contempt of court for violating a gag order in this case. But he also talked about the extraordinary circumstance of this case and this conviction where Trump at the time was a private citizen, a former president, but since has been elected back to the office and will be president again in 10 days. And that, he said, is a reason why the prosecutors endorsed the idea of this unconditional discharge, meaning no punishment or no penalty. Judge Juan Merchan noted that this was an extraordinary case because it involved a former president and, at this time of sentencing, a man who was about to be president again. But even so, this was the lowest level of felony in New York State. The charges were falsifying business records, the underlying allegation that Donald Trump logged expenses as legal fees when in reality they were reimbursements to his then lawyer Michael Cohen for a hush money payment to porn actor Stormy Daniels. Trump says that he logged legal fees as legal fees and that this case should never have been brought. Nevertheless, legal experts conclude that Trump is 78 years old, has no other criminal history, and would not necessarily have gotten jail time or prison time or any other substantial punishment had there not been the extraordinary circumstance of his election to the White House.